A Freeport business owner says she's facing an uphill battle. She says Walton County Code Compliance has been to her property a multitude of times since 2018, but county officials say they aren't treating her differently than anyone else. Code Compliance says Power Pavilion is holding activities outside of their development order, but the owner says it's just not fair. News 13's Emily McLeod live in studio tonight. And Emily, when did all of this start?
Amy, Power Pavilion owner Kate Holland says this has been going on for the last 3 years. She and her family moved here from the United Kingdom in 2018, hoping for a piece of the American dream. And while Holland says she's doing everything she can, code enforcement says they just want compliance. Power Pavilion owner Kate Holland moved to America from the United Kingdom in 2018 with her husband and 2 kids. Holland had the dream of opening her own business in Freeport, but now she says it's been an awful experience.
I'm not an emotional person, but this isn't right. Do you know, for 3 years, I've battled and battled. I open a wedding venue, it gets closed. I open a coffee shop, I'm allowed to run it for 6 months and then it gets closed. I open food trailers, 2 years later, they're getting closed. I open a barn, it's getting closed.
Holland says despite trying to do the right thing, she says she's stopped at every turn.
I try to move forward and every time I just get knocked back. And I firmly believe it's because I'm not from here, probably not got the right surname, and you know, it wasn't someone else's idea, but I didn't move here to get thrown in with the piranha fish. I just wanted to do something nice.
Power Pavilion was supposed to include a bistro, but when COVID-19 hit, Holland's plans changed. She turned to food trucks to keep her doors open. Holland says the state issued her a permit which allowed her to operate food trucks for a year, but the county says they could only open for 6 months. She says when the state came by to inspect the food truck, she says they told her she should be operating because her permits were still in good standing.
Well, and that's what the statute says, but I think there's some misinformation or misunderstanding. The magistrate at the last hearing had advised them that they weren't to hold any other activities except for what was approved for in their development order.
Code Compliance Manager Mike Lynch says additional structures like the bar and elevated stage weren't ever mentioned when Power Pavilion was approved.
None of that is permitted. It's never been inspected. Nobody can say that this is going to meet any sort of weight load. So from a public safety standpoint, the county wants to make sure that they submit the engineering plans for those and that all the permits are obtained and inspections done before the county signs off on it.
Since her last hearing on October 20th, Holland has submitted 2 more permits for her food trucks. She is submitting an engineering drawing and is trying to pull bathroom permits for her bistro.
So yeah, every time they tell me to do something, I do it. You know, when I got called to court, I had 32 permits. If I was somebody that didn't do things correctly, I would have no permits. A permit costs $70 to $200, an attorney costs $20,000. Would I not just get the permit? Do you know what I mean?
Holland will have another hearing next Wednesday, December 15th at 2 o'clock at the South Walton Courthouse Annex.
Now, Emily, is Holland able to operate any part of her facility now?
Yes, she can hold weddings, run her coffee truck and the bistro, but the bistro isn't ready to open yet because she has yet to obtain a permit for the bathrooms, which she says have been difficult to get.
Emily McLeod tonight, thank you.